Hey folks, this is EJS, founder of Thrivality.com and FDN practitioner. Today's video asks the important question, what is health anyways? With a variety of influencers out there promoting carnivore or paleo or dry fasting or red light or sauna or cold plunges, I think it's important that we step back and ask the important question, what is health anyways? Are those things tools or are they the end game? And I'd postulate is that those things are tools that help us get to health, but they are not the end game. And the reason that's important is I see a lot of friends or clients continuing to do the same thing expecting a different result, right? So they hear about a tool, they apply it, they get some benefit, but it doesn't quite get them across the finish line or to their health goal, but they keep doing it anyways. And what's really important is that we sort of sometimes step back and do a better job of observing, orienting, deciding, and acting on where we are and where we want to go so we can reach the health outcome. So what I'd suggest is we need a working map of what compromises health in the first place, right? So we can ask better questions of ourselves, of the health influencers that are promoting, or even when we sit down with a practitioner, right? And so we can ask better questions. So let me take a shot at defining what is health. And I would describe it as the harmonious and vibrant interaction of your hormonal system, your immune system, the ability to take in nutrients and turn them into energy, so that's digestion and energy production, your ability to detoxify the various food byproducts that you don't need or toxins and pesticides from your environment, and then your nervous system. This is your ability to rest and digest, to fight or flight, and to adapt to your environment and any stressors that you might encounter, so you can be the best version of yourselves, get a good night's sleep, and rinse and repeat and do the next day. All right. I'd also suggest that health is not just this biochemical and mechanical system. It's really your ability and access to create a healthy community of friends and family, right? That you can celebrate life's joys together and also the challenges that come your way. And lastly, health includes some sort of spiritual connection to a higher power, to God, to the great chain of being. These are the things that really make up a vibrant, vital, and alive life. Okay, so let's go through and break down each of these things. So hormones include things like testosterone or DHEA or estrogen or DHT, right? And they're typically measured via the saliva or blood. As my good friend Dr. Lenise Lawson says, when the hormones are optimized, everything else works better. And that's been my experience personally and in working with clients. The second system is the immune system. So your immune system is comprised of two parts. So your innate immune system, right? This is kind of the containment system that's trying to put the bugs, if you will, in a jar, right? And then you have the adaptive, which is sort of your missile command that's trying to shoot them down. And sometimes that can go awry. Like with COVID, people get a cytokine storm and they might, for example, end up, in an extreme case, end up in the hospital, right? Digestion is your ability to kind of take food, move it through the mouth, into the stomach, the small intestine, large intestine, and colon. It uses the liver and the gallbladder, and basically to assimilate food into nutrients, right? So then you can eventually produce, energy, and that comes in the energy production system, right? So energy is your ability to take that food, the energy system is turn it into adenosine triphosphate in the cell. So you've got hormones, immune system, digestion, energy production. The next one is detox, right? This is your ability to remove byproducts from food or from the environment, things that don't serve your body. You need to move them, through the cells, into the organs and the tissues, lymphatic, liver, kidney, out the colon, and sometimes even out the skin. The next is your nervous system. So the nervous system comprises, your prefrontal cortex, broadly speaking, right? Very broadly speaking, your prefrontal cortex, your limbic system, parasympathetic, sympathetic, your vagal nerve, your chakra system, your meridians. These are all, broadly speaking, nervous systems that kind of help your body regulate and interact with its environment. So it helps your body sort of do its own observing, orienting, deciding, and acting and responding to its environment. And that can get impaired for a variety of reasons. Okay, so why is all this important? Again, I think it's important to be able to step back up and think about what is health, right? So we can ask better questions of the people that are promoting a variety of products, the tools that we're applying ourselves, or when we're working with, a health practitioner like, a doctor or a coach like myself. So that's really important, right? And what understanding the difference between what is health and some of the tools we apply to get there, right? So I'll give you an example. I recently completed a dry fast in Europe where I didn't eat any food or water for 9 days. And a couple of my fellow fasters did two of these things back to back. So they did a 9-day, took a 6-day break where they were eating and drinking again, and then they did another 9-day. And some of them really had a rough exit, right? And sort of the implied strategy from some of the practitioners there that were advocating this particular method of dry fasting was, well, you just need to do more of it. That was sort of the implied thing. And a lot of these people were exhausted. And so the reason why I raised this whole thing about, what is health anyways, is because sometimes I see the need for people to kind of zoom out and have a map of what is health so they can observe, orient, decide, and act, and then do some pattern matching via labs, applied kinesiology, bioresonance testing. There are a variety of tools out there to then figure out what tool they need to apply. So for example, dry fasting is a tool, but maybe the person has trauma that they need to process, right? Dry fasting can actually help your cells release that dry trauma, but sometimes you need other tools to apply it. So again, this is really important so people don't keep doing the same thing expecting, a different result. So health, again, is that harmonious interaction of the hormones, immune system, digestion, detox, energy production in the nervous system, your ability to adapt to stress in your environment, to form rich communities of friends and family so you can celebrate life and deal with the challenges together in a connection to your higher power. But it's really important that you have this map so you can step back and ask better questions of yourselves, of the various health influences that are out there, and even working with your doctor. So for example, you might in the future sit down and say, hey doc, I understand health is the harmonious interaction of the hormone system and the immune, the digestion, and detox, and the energy system, and my nervous system, and ability to adapt to stress. How am I doing in each of these areas? How would we measure it? And how would we measure my progress? If you ask that question of your health provider, they'll be totally blown away because a lot of people don't know how to ask that question. So I hope this video has been helpful in helping you differentiate between what makes up health at a high level. Again, this is super high level. You could literally spend a whole podcast just talking about hormones. But what's the difference between health and the various tools we get there so you can ask better questions of yourselves, health influencers, and the health practitioners you work with. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks.